Hello, welcome back. Yeah, this is a very short Rails house, and that's because next week I return to the Genco Archer, the pinball, and that one's 30 minutes long, and as try as I might, I couldn't make it less than 30 minutes, so you're going to have to put up with that one, or fast forward, or don't watch it at all. It's up to you. But just briefly, I'm returning to my 12-volt solar system. Now, virtually, not all of the lights in the house, but most of the lights in the house now run on 12-volt solar. So what I did, I fed a 12-volt line, above the ceiling and the floorboards upstairs, alongside the 240 mains. By the way, that's just gone off because, see that sensor there? That's picking me up, and they just come back on. These are momentary lights. And actually, for most rooms, including the kitchen, they're on sensors as well. So, at least for the last 12 months, we haven't actually had to touch a light switch. I'm not sure how that's going to pan out in the longer term, but, not everybody will like it, will they? So, I'll have to supply a 240 lighting system alongside it. I've got one or two around the house, but most of them are like this. So, if I come in at night in the dark, the hallway lights come on. They will stay on for a fixed period of a minute and then go off unless you move about again. I find a minute is about right, to be honest. But I've been experimenting with different types of bulbs because for domestic 12 volt there isn't an awful lot about, to be honest. And what there is enormously expensive. And I'm not dropping 240 volt down to 12 volt, which is what most of those systems are aimed at. Mine is already 12 volt. So, a couple of bulbs I tried. What I did have, I had some of these in, but these plug into a USB socket. So that meant I then had to make a USB socket to plug it in. And also, no matter how much I tried, you've got the shadow of this behind the light, which is a bit phallic, isn't it, really? It wasn't quite bright enough. So I've ordered some of these. In fact, this is what's in there now. These are self-adhesive COB lights, and they stick right on the back. If you look through the green on the glass, can you see it? Far more light, but I'll say they're only on for a minute, so they're not using an awful lot. And the other option I've got, if that didn't work, is I've got these. They're like pin spots for the front of a vehicle. They're also 12 volt. They might work quite well, but they may be a bit overpowering. Don't know yet. At the moment, they seem to work absolutely fabulous. So, oh, and just to remind you, these are the lights that came out of that cinema in North Wales. Don't know which one. I'd love to know. If anybody's in North Wales and knows which cinema these came out of, it'd just be nice to know, wouldn't it? I wonder if it was, no, it couldn't be the one in Portmaddock, the Colosseum, because that's shut afterwards. Anyway, some cinema in Wales. So stay tuned to Rails House, because next week we've got quite a crafty one coming up with an awful lot in it. And you can always fast forward if you find it a bit long. And we'll also return to this 12 volt solar system, because I've had a lot of questions asked about it, and I've even got friends at work saying, how did you build it? How did you build it? Well, I'm going to show that in a couple of weeks, actually how I laid out the whole system for domestic. I don't have solar panels on a roof. My system is completely independent of the grid. It's my own power supply, and should the mains power go off, at least I won't be walking around in the dark. So there you go. Stay tuned next week. Genco Archer coming up. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe.